Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for having me here today. And thank you, Henry, for that nice introduction. I am Maria Cole, the founder and principal of the Jeff Cole Legacy Fund, and I'm going to speak for a couple minutes on my personal experience and what it took to uphold a culture of free speech. My husband, Jeff Cole, to give you some background, was the aviation and aerospace editor at the Wall Street Journal. He was there for 8 years, and he was considered to be one of the 7 best reporters in the world at the time of his death. He was tragically killed in a plane crash outside of Denver, Colorado in 2001 in January while he was on assignment for the Journal. In an effort to build a lasting legacy for him, I started a memorial scholarship at UM, and I sponsored a distinguished lecturer each year. And then I also held a dinner at my home in the Bitterroot Valley for all students and faculty working on the campus newspaper each spring. A year ago last month, I sponsored Professor Mike Adams from the University of North Carolina, Wilmington, to be the 10th Jeff Cole Distinguished Lecturer. I invited Dr. Adams in July of 2017, finalized the contract with him in August, and we set a date for a February 2018 lecture. Dr. Adams is a very vocal free speech advocate and a controversial figure, and when I notified the Dean of the Journalism School at UM of my selection, he wavered momentarily, but then dismissed him out of hand entirely on the grounds that Professor Adams wasn't a journalist, was too controversial, and would project a bad image for the J School. I pressed on and countered all of the dean's arguments and objections, but a battle ensued. The dean would not sponsor his visit on campus, so suddenly I was stuck. I couldn't bring Professor Adams into classes. I couldn't have the students tour the campus with him. I couldn't bring him to lunch with faculty members. So I contacted the radio station KGVO in Missoula to set up an interview. That's when the whole thing exploded and the true culture at UM was revealed. KGVO found Dr. Adams' story to be very fascinating, and they agreed to 90 minutes of airtime when he came in February. But they found my story to be even more fascinating. Imagine the dean of a journalism school denying a free speech advocate to campus. What? Let that sink in for a moment. The First Amendment is the underpinning and the foundation of the free press in this country.
Absolutely.
In addition, as Ethan previously mentioned, the UM Free Speech and Academic Freedom Policy, just one of the policies, number 707, page 9, you can look it up, states, quote, "The welfare and strength of the university and society at large depend upon the ability to engage in free expression in the search for meaning." This policy also states, quote, "Constitutionally protected speech and traditional notions of academic freedom are valued in higher education. These ideals help to create the stimulating and challenging learning environment that should characterize higher education. In the spirit of a true university environment, individuals are encouraged to invite rather than to inhibit discourse on ideas." End quote. Those are 4 beautiful sentences, truly beautiful, if only they truly represented that culture on that campus. On October 20th, 2017, the story of the dean's refusal to host the 10th Jeff Cole Distinguished Lecture hit the front page of the Missoulian, and the story went nationwide. For 5 months, my phone blew up. I endured endless text messages, emails, slanderous and libelous comments on social media, and you name it. I was attacked from every corner. The onslaught was incredible. And mind you, I had been a benefactor to this university for 15 years and was employed by the university for 8 years. first in the Human Resources Office and then in the President's office. On the day of the lecture, protesters lined up outside with signs and shouts, and some of them worked their way inside, but were graciously escorted out if they did not adhere to respectful civil discourse. The George Dennison Theater on campus was a packed house, and we pulled off a truly remarkable evening. I have to say, looking back now, I am so glad that I just held the front and moved forward. The bottom line is, building a culture of free expression requires that you, number one, know the First Amendment and its caveats.
Yes.
2, stand firmly. Don't back up. Don't back off. And 3, speak up and assert yourself. Be heard. Be civil. Be respectful, but be heard. Yes, speech can be provocative and challenging. It can produce discomfort and unrest. I believe we have a responsibility to encourage the kind of dialogue that produces some discomfort. Without it, we inhibit our growth and learning. Our society right now needs open debate, conversations that include various perspectives and provide differing, educated views. I believe this enables greater understanding and allows us to craft better and more creative solutions to the complex problems that we face today. It enriches and develops a culture of tolerance and inclusivity. You must stand up in defense of our First Amendment rights, and you must stand up for the Forum Act. Please do so. Thank you.